we are now more than 30 picks in. Well, yeah, more than 30 picks in to this Major League Football draft. Um, so I'm gonna de-zoom a bit so we can see the whole board. See, how can I make teams small yet? How can I do that? Okay, okay, never mind. I can do it like that. Okay, okay, figured it out. All right, all good. So the first pick went to Leeds, Haaland, then Bukayo Saka went to Liverpool, Bruno Fernandes went to Manchester, no surprise, in the top three. And number four, Liverpool's Alexander Isak from Sweden went fourth overall. He was ranked a bit lower, but still, in my opinion, that was a great pick. Um, he had a great performance with the Swedes. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that Alexander Isaac was great with Sweden, terrific even, and I think it was a great pick. Then we've got Dom Soboslai, hard to pronounce, but Dominic Slobosai, um, from Hungary. So sadly, he was not in the World Cup because Hungary didn't qualify. But still, at number five, he did get 423.5 fantasy points last year, an average of 11.75 fantasy points per game. So, in my opinion, that was a great pick by Prem to get him at number five. Sporting KC going with Manchester's Antoine Semenyo from Ghana. Well, birthplace London, England, but he played for Ghana at the World Cup. He is ranked number two among forwards, number three overall, and 12.3 fantasy points per game. So, I mean, you get a guy that had 12.3 fantasy points per game at number six. In my opinion, that's actually pretty good. At number seven, Crystal Palace going with Manchester's Jeremy Doku from Belgium. He had 12 fantasy points per game last season, aged only 24, so he still got potential. Born in Amsterdam, Belgium. His ADP was 8, that's selected 7th overall, so that's pretty much where I expected him to go, 7th overall for Doku. Then another midfielder, Cole Palmer from Chelsea, went 8th to Tottenham Hotspur. Birthplace Manchester, England. Uh, a disappointing end, yeah, to a campaign. He had a bit of a disappointing season last season, only getting 8.8 fantasy points per game. He didn't make the English World Cup roster, which kind of hurt his value, but still, I mean, at 8th, it's a gamble, but I think that Tottenham, great pick, honestly, 8th overall. Even though he had a disappointing season last year, I still think that pretty solid. Another midfielder, Ryan Checkry, with 10.3 fantasy points per game. He got eliminated sadly yesterday, the French midfielder. So he was with the team with Olise Dembele. He was more of a reserve than an actual starter, but still, I mean, if you make it in the French team, and we thought that this French team could go all in last year, He only got 4 goals last year, but he did get 12 assists. I mean, his assists in midfield. There's not a lot of guys. I mean, on the board, the player with the most assists is Pedro Neto. Okay, and let me just if I remove the available. Bruno Fernandez was first, Martin Odegaard second, Bukayo Saka. He was fourth. Okay, among all players in assists. So for someone that wants assists, maybe in this case Arsenal, good pick. Then Florian Wirtz going 10th to AFC Richmond. I was wondering actually when that guy was going to get picked. I thought he was going to get picked earlier than that, to be honest. So I think that AFC should be pretty happy of having him. Only 9.1 fantasy points per game last year, though. He was ranked 20th in midfielders, but I actually thought he was going to go earlier than that. He had 51 shots and 18 shots on target last year, only one yellow card. His foul committed for fouls suffered, pretty much a 1-for-1 ratio. Then Hamburger, uh, going with Rice, 11th overall. Arsenal's Declan Rice. Um, so he is part of the English team, and they just confirmed yesterday that he was ready to start. He was fully fit and ready to start. Just want to make sure, guys, you hear me well. If anyone could write in the chat if they hear me well, that would be appreciated. Eight viewers, not bad, not bad. The Mighty Nuggy, it's a little laggy. Uh, Thank you, the Mighty Nuggy, for following me. Greatly appreciated. Do you hear what I say? At the my voice is laggy. Okay. Dang, you just lost 3 viewers in like 30 seconds. Okay, but thanks a lot, the Mighty Nuggy, for commenting that. I'll try to fix my mic, but I guess that'll have to do for the rest of this stream. That one 12th overall was one player that I really like going to Sydney FC, Kai Havertz. He only had 6.7 fantasy points per game last year, but the German forward, bitter end to the World Cup for Havertz, but it's still a guy that I love. And Crystal Palace just went with Phil Foden, Gabriel Martinelli. Okay, I feel like this is gonna roll now with Quibin and Ajax on the clock, so I'm just gonna try to hurry here to catch up. Then it was okay. Then it was Joao Pedro, Martin Odegaard, Igor Thiago, Mateus Cunha, uh, Bruno Guimaraes, Rodriguez Moura, going 17th. Ryan Fernandez. Then it was my turn, and I took Van Dijk and Gakpo, Esteval, Anderson, Stock, Gibbs, Poro Munoz, Rodrigo, James, Reece James. Only the third defenseman off the board here by Arsenal. A few picks ago, Rogers, Foden, and Martinelli. So two top midfielders, Phil Foden, Gabe Martinelli. And now Preben, who's already got a midfielder in Slobosai. Wonder where they're gonna go here. They're gonna go with the defenseman. There's a few from Sunderland, Enzo Lefebvre, Nilsson, and Gulo. Currently on the block. Well, not on the block, but available. So Preben is online on the clock. Who are they gonna pick? That's gonna be a good question. But Arsenal's Gabe Martinelli just won 35 overall. The Brazilian. Yeah, that was also a tough loss for Brazil. and they're on the 16th to Norway. He did have one goal. Yeah, it's been a bit of a tougher season last season for Gabe Martinelli. You know, it happens. Uh, Let me go on stats, right. Yeah, in 23, 24, I mean, in 22, 23, so like 3 years ago, he scored 15 goals. And so, I mean, it's a risk worth taking, but in my opinion, I mean, it's worth it for Sporting KC. I mean, sometimes you just gotta gamble, and apparently. The best forward available is Newcastle's Nick Voltemade from Bremen, Germany. So he was also in with Havertz when they lost to Paraguay, and Preben just took forward Brian Mbeumo. So Manchester United's French forward Brian Mbeumo going 36th overall to Manchester United. 11 goals last season, 73 shots, 32 shots on target for Mbeumo. He had a goal in both of his last two games against Nottingham Forest and Brighton and Hove. So, I mean, why not? And there he is, Nick Voltemade. So, Ajax with two of the best forwards in the league, with Alexander Isaac and Nick Voltemade. I was actually just talking about Voltemade. And there he goes, Newcastle United, picking Nick Voltemade. 37th overall, it's Man City, who's got Bruno Fernandes. So the last two picks went by pretty fast there with Foden, Martinelli, Mbeumo, and Voltemade. I have to admit, Bristol City kind of stole Matheus Cunha from me in the first round. I wanted to pick him, had to settle for Van Dijk and Gakpo, but Cunha and Odegaard were two players that I was targeting, and they went actually like nearly one after the other, which kind of like annoyed me. But here they are. I hope that they perform well this season, except when they're playing against me. In this case, I hope that they have the worst game of their career. So, which team actually got the most players picked? I think that's gonna be Liverpool, right? Isaac, or maybe Man City. Wait, I'm gonna count. Isaac, Slabosai, Wirtz, Arsenal maybe, Van Dijk and Gakpo. They got five. Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, uh, Gyökeres, and Martinelli. That's six. And Man City, Haaland, Semenyo, Doku, Chekri, uh, Anderson, Rodri, and Phil Foden. So the team that's gotten the most picked so far was Man City, who's got seven. Were there actually teams that didn't get anyone? Was there anyone from Brighton and Hove? No, there was actually nobody from Brighton and Hove that got picked. Brentford, yes, Igor Thiago got picked. Bournemouth, there was Ryan. Aston Villa, Watkins. Arsenal, they got Gyökeres and how's Gabriel Jesus ranked so low? I'm actually surprised about that. But wait, did they just completely remove? Oh wait, no, I was in fourth. My bad. Yeah, not that's from Arsenal. Brighton and Hove, no, actually, even Karumi Mitoma. But did they just completely remove Leandro Trossard? I actually went last I checked, he was actually still there. Wait. No, they actually removed. Oh no, there he is, Leandro Trossard. Yeah, but ever since his transfer from Arsenal, I mean, nobody's gonna pick him, because well, he's not even in the Premier League anymore, so it's just a wasted pick. I actually wanted to pick him in the first round, and then Mateus Cunha and all got picked, and then I saw that he left, which yeah, that wasn't my best moment. Um, yeah, who do you? How many defensemen do you think are gonna get picked? I mean, when are the next defensemen gonna get picked? Write down in the comments. Which, well, actually, when the next defensemen are gonna get picked, like the guys like Tarkovsky, Thomas, Mukiele, Hill, Robinson. You think they're gonna get picked in the next few picks, late second round, early third round, or do you think it's gonna be a bit later? I mean, only three defensemen picked so far. I took the first one with four. Took the first one with Van Dyke, uh, Pedro Porro went to Tottenham, the Bees Knees. Then right after that, Daniel Munoz and Reece James. To be honest, I think that when defensemen are gonna get picked, it's gonna be like maybe mid third round, and then it's just gonna be like Tarkovsky, Robinson, Mukiele, like one after the other. I think that teams are not gonna want to get like beaten up. So I think that so the player with the highest fantasy points per game was obviously a bunch of guys from Brighton and Hove. Karolampos Kospouros, Stefanos Simas, but had the most fantasy points in total last year. Enzo Lefebvre is the highest rated player available from Sunderland. Born in Lorient, France. He's ranked number 20 at 346.75 fantasy points per game last season. On average, one of the best available, Phil Nelson Angulo, also from Sutherland. There's not much, yeah, with higher than 10. Mohamed Beloumi from Hull City is available. He had over 12 fantasy points per game uh, last year. So if you remove like the exceptions, yeah, kudos. Yeah, was there any guys from Fulham picked? I don't think I saw anybody from Fulham get picked. Was there? Fulham. If there's anybody that sees a guy from Fulham or that drafted a player from Fulham, let me know in the comments. But I don't see anybody from Fulham that actually got picked here. Let me just go on Fulham, which actually would be surprising here. And Tony Robinson, obviously. No, there was actually nobody from Fulham picked in the first like 40 picks. It's actually really surprising that nobody from Fulham got picked. Obviously, American defenseman Anthony Robinson, Alex Iwobi from Lagos, Nigeria. Nigeria, who didn't qualify for the World Cup, which it hurt. It actually hurt for them. So now it's Man City with the next pick, the 38th pick. But that'll be all for this stream. But I will be back in a while when there's more picks done. Maybe we're in the mid third round because it's a 4 hour pick clock, so we could be here a while. But thanks a lot, and thank you, the Mighty Nuggy, for following me, and we'll see you next time.